gotta get out of here. I've gotta get out of here. I've gotta get out of here. I've gotta get out of here. Tyler.
And Timothy Chalamet is ugly.
Kabuki!
The Dreams.
Gotta do something about this, man. But first... Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Welcome to the 2026 mid-year edition of the Justin and Tyler Movie Awards. So we are filming this on, what is it? It's the 6th of June, and we're just about, what we call halfway through the year. We mess with it a little bit. And it is time to talk about our favorite movies of 2026 so far as we careen recklessly towards what is probably going to be a pretty banger second half of the year. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's coming out the second half of the year. Huge releases for the rest of this year. But that doesn't mean that some great stuff hasn't already come out in 2026. In the true Justin and Tyler tradition of striking while the iron is lukewarm, we are going to take a little diversion, do something that we've never done before. About a month ago, this was huge all over the internet, doing the kind of like About Me grids. A bunch of people were doing them for, most of the ones I saw were for video games, but it's since expanded to a ton of them, and obviously movies and television and all that stuff are a huge part of that. So we did one of those About Me movie grids, and obviously not sticking to just stuff in 2026 because that would basically defeat the purpose of the rest of the video. Yeah, we kind of looked at, stuff that maybe we haven't had much of a chance to talk about in previous videos. We're all about shining lights around this place, and so we're gonna do one of these movie grids. I have my actual grid on there. Tyler's got he's got copious amounts of notes. I'm sure this will take us about 6 hours. So the About Me movies grid begins with your favorite movie of all time. So we start with an absolute banger. Let's have you start.
There's some preamble here.
Yep.
This is actually really hard.
Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna feel okay with any pick here because, ultimately they're all 10 out of 10s to me. I love them for different reasons, right? I had to tell myself that, it's not that important, right? But in my mind, because historically I've gone Gummo or Spring Breakers.
Yes.
Right? But I love, Infinity War. I watch that every year.
Yeah.
Right? Then I thought, The Dark Knight. But there was one movie that I hadn't seen in many, many, many years, but was always in the top, 5 of my list.
Okay.
And I decided to rewatch it the other day, especially since there's apparently a director's cut of it that adds, a little bit more, which I've never seen before. Nice. But I'm going to go with my favorite movie of all time being the great Rocky Balboa.
Wow.
Right? Which is I don't think it's a huge surprise because I'm a big Rocky guy.
Yeah.
But it usually kind of gets the shaft compared to Spring Breakers and Gummo. But the thing is, I thought about it. Mm-hmm. At this point in my life, I I still appreciate Kareem. I still appreciate him. I still appreciate, especially what Gummo did for its experimentation. And Spring Breakers was a little more mainstream, but it was still cool and stylish and neat.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to watch Gummo anymore. I've seen it 6, 7 times. Yeah. I'm okay with not watching it. Yes. But I haven't watched Rocky Balboa in so many years. I felt I was doing it dirty because as time goes on, it kind of softens a little bit. You're like, I love that movie, but K-pop Demon Hunters just came out.
Right.
And I've watched Dark Knight over the last couple years. Infinity War I watched earlier this year. But I'm gonna go with Rocky Balboa because that movie is so good. It's so tender and heartwarming, but sad because it's Stallone getting older and kind of lamenting through the movie, that feeling. And we've gotten older since that movie came out, right? 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's starting to hit a little bit there, which I was actually kind of scared it would hit too hard because I'm getting old now. Right? Not as old as Rocky Balboa, but and I just watched it and I was still astounded by the way it was shot. I mean, the final fight with Mason Dixon was still awesome. Mm-hmm. The humor, the awkward humor of Rocky still works. But, it hit me again. It's hit me many times before, but it hadn't hit me in, 15 years, because I haven't watched it since I don't know when. So, yeah, my favorite movie, I mean, it could obviously change. If I watch The Dark Knight tomorrow, then it would probably be, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll go with Rocky Balboa, because I love that movie. I have since the day it came out. I know you also love that movie.
Yes, one of our great in-theater viewing experiences of all time.
It also might be at least our top 5 probably consensus favorite movies. Because both of...
It would certainly
we both love that movie.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, it would certainly be in there. Wow. That was not... When you started kind of reeling off the ones that it wasn't,
yeah,
I'm thinking is this Terrifier 2?
Oh, no.
Is this oh my goodness?
Now horror movies, it's in there somewhere, yeah. But no, not I could never.
And suddenly Art the Clown appears in our window behind off camera. Mine is not going to be nearly the surprise of that. I don't think.
Two guesses.
Two guesses.
Yeah.
I've loved this movie for same deal from the second that it came out. It's one of my great in-theater viewing experiences of all time. The only one that I have with my brother. I've gushed about this movie for 20 years. I've done podcasts about this movie.
All right, I know what it is.
It is The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
I was also guessing Inception.
Okay,
it was that or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I've said Inception before.
Yeah.
I absolutely have. I could have even thought, again, speaking of the in-theater viewing experience, I put Clerks 2 in consideration there, especially for that. Again, one of our great in-theater experiences together. It gave me everything that the capper to that trilogy wanted to give me, to the point that I in consideration for another thing that was on this grid, it almost made me give it to a particular actor. Just on the strength of that and other things that they've done, but I was like, man, can I sort of justify it? But that was that entire franchise being culminated in that movie that I think is pretty well beat for beat perfect. It was ultimately it was never going to be anything but that. Inception could have given it quite a run for sure. But I think too, it's been a while since I've watched Inception. So maybe if I rewatched both, not necessarily back to back, but if I rewatched both in short period of time, it might change it. But it would be hard pressed. Be hard pressed to be anything but Return of the King.
I haven't seen it.
Wow.
I'm renowned with you of hating Lord of the Rings. Right. Which I sort of play out. Because I actually don't hate the Two Towers. I just did like it enough that I wanted to watch Return of the King.
Right.
Maybe someday.
Second one on the grid is favorite director, and I'll start with this too, and it is not, in fact, Peter Jackson.
It's not who I was guessing.
No, but I thought about it, but I'm I've never watched anything of Peter Jackson's that's not a Rings movie. I thought for a while about, like, is it Kubrick? Because I've watched a lot of Kubrick. Whether it was in university or afterwards or whatever, and I love, like, he's got some real high-end stuff and depth, and I'm like, man, maybe it's Kubrick. But I had to think, in answering this question, I had to think, like, which director's movies get me out of my seat just by hearing that they're attached to it. The one I didn't choose was Edgar Wright. Because anytime Edgar Wright's name is attached to something, I'm like, I am there. I can't wait for it. So it wasn't Edgar Wright. It did wind up being Denis Villeneuve.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
But those were the two. And I also briefly gave some consideration to Matt Reeves. Because every time I see Matt Reeves' name attached to something, I'm like, awesome. I'm there.
Did you consider Kevin Smith?
I did.
I like him more as a writer. Like, if it was like favorite writer, he would be more in consideration.
It was definitely that, and I was like, it's not like I love the Universe movies. I have grown on movies like Tusk and some of the other stuff.
I still think Red State's fantastic.
Yeah, I think I've grown a little more on Red State too. I'd have to rewatch Red State, so I definitely. The name certainly crossed the desk when I was thinking about this, but I'm like, I think it was ultimately going to be one of those two, and I'm not even sure that this is the correct decision, but I think where Denny got the edge was like, again, super excited for both of their movies. They're both stylish in their own way, but it's like the scale of Denny movies now.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I think Villeneuve might be the best working director today. I didn't put him as my number one because, geez, you go through a history of directors. You know, I love directors because, like, then he's like, you know, he's up against like Bergman and Tarkovsky and Kubrick and Kurosawa. Like, he's not gonna ever be those levels for people. But in terms of modern directors, I would say he's the best, even if he's not my favorite, though he is one of. Mine's Kareem. Ooh, Harmony Korine. I never talk about him.
How could this be?
Yeah, even though I didn't give Gummo and Spring Breakers number one favorite movie, I mean, I still always look forward to Korine. I always just appreciate what he's going to do. Because you never know what he's going to do. And that's what I love about him. And then he is capable of great shots and great style and whatever, even that, you know, and he's provocative, but he's interesting. And I guess not everything he does works, although it does pretty much for me. But I understand people hating him. But there is no director like him, like ever. Even like there are tons of experimental directors who do some weird stuff and are very original, but Kareem still walks his own lane of what he does, and I love him for it. So, you know, I still always look forward to a Kareem movie.
Yeah.
So, Harmony Korine, my favorite director. The most boring pick of any of these.
Notable for his AI slop numbers.
Yep.
No.
One of the only people that can make AI movies where I'm like, you know what, the AI is kind of an interesting idea in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Third on the grid is favorite screenplay. I'm going to let Tyler kick this one.
All right, so I'll probably have like preamble for all of these, you know, like I could have went with whatever, right? Could have went with the classics like 12 Angry Men, Casablanca. You could go Citizen Kane, even though I think that movie's a little overrated. I love the script for The Maltese Falcon a lot. It's like my favorite film noir movie ever. It's like a 10 out of 10. Like, there's tons of old movies with fantastic scripts.
Yes.
That you could have went with. But I told Justin off screen that I kind of tried to lean a little more towards like in our lifetime, specifically 2000 onward, but it didn't have to be. But like, so there are some old movies and Fight Club. I'm gonna give best screenplay to Fight Club, and it's not out of the realm of possibility because I googled it and then people are like, yeah, it's a great, like in terms of modern screenplays, it's fantastic. Like I realized that there was no movie ever really that I talked about what it was trying to say and the dialogue and whatever more than Fight Club, because Fight Club has gone through this thing where it's like people kind of think they know what it's about, and it is kind of about that, but then like it's kind of not about that, and it's like very satirical, and like I've had some great conversations, especially with one guy online that I was kind of buddies with years ago, and it was such an in-depth conversation with Fight Club that we didn't plan to have, it just happened. I rewatched it there either last year or the year before, and like I was actually impressed with how well its comments on masculinity actually held up, both good and bad aspects of masculinity. And also the script is just super fun. And it also had a twist that was so mind-blowingly good that now no other movie can use it. Because it's just like... Because people are like, it's just a Fight Club twist.
Yeah.
Like,
just ripping off Fight Club. Yeah.
Like Tyler Durden, one of the all-time great characters, a great performance by Pitt. You know, like Edward Norton's character is fun. Like Bob has bitch tits. Like it's such a good screenplay.
Why'd you point at me when you said that?
I also have bitch tits. It was more about your ice cap.
My choice for my favorite screenplay of all time, and there wasn't really, like, in doing these awards, I tried not to double up.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, Return of the King could win a lot of these,
I know,
right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, that makes for a boring grid. So I made that basically a hard and fast rule that I don't think I broke. My choice for this award is Her. Because the entire movie is propelled strictly by conversations between Joaquin Phoenix and the disembodied voice of Scarlett Johansson. And it's a Spike Jonze screenplay, I believe. I know he directed it. I think he wrote the screenplay for it as well. That did win the Oscar that year, 2014, I want to say it was. But yeah, in terms of a screenplay and just like dialogue between only one character that you can see, and then you're just like everything about yourself sensory when you know that she's about to start talking is like everything focuses here because you can't see her. Yeah. So it's just the voice. So you're really honing in that much more on her words and her inflections and what's being said and what it means and everything like that. So that's why I went screenplay, because I remember thinking it was a beautiful screenplay at the time, and I think it's still held up really, really. I'm starting to get like Instagram reels from her. I'm not sure why, but it started hitting my algorithm again. And I'm like, every one of these, the dialogue in this is excellent. So I went with Her.
I believe you, but I've never seen it. I had no interest in it the year it came out.
Right.
It's been one of those movies where anytime something like this comes up, I thought, like, I should watch Her, because I know you liked it. I mean, not that much. Like, I didn't realize it was, like, the best screenplay. But I can see your reasoning. So you're right. So
next up is favorite cinematography, and it would be really easy to boil this award down to what's the prettiest movie you've ever seen, which is not what I did. But it would be probably really easy to do that, because like I could think like, okay, Blade Runner 2049 was beautiful. Like there's so many movies that are just like visually absolutely stunning. My choice for this is going to be Pan's Labyrinth.
I mean, that's a good choice.
Because yes, it is beautiful, obviously, yes. But there's also just like there's just some weird shit in that movie that I've never seen since. Whether it's stylistic choices or visual cues or what have you, it was where I think I first really made the estimation that like, wow, this person's a genius. Like he's an absolute genius. And Pan's Labyrinth, I think you put that movie in theaters today.
Oh yeah.
And it's still like people just gonna be like, wow, look at this. Like look at how awesome this looks and look at how interesting everything is here. And you gotta watch this 3 or 4 times on a big screen because you're gonna pick out something up here that you didn't notice the first 2 times, and it's like maybe it doesn't serve any narrative purpose, but wow, it adds to the ambiance of everything. So I'm gonna go Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, I went to bat for that movie so hard in the Oscars the year that came out. Like I remember trying to get as many people I could to watch it, and I watched the Oscars being like, Pan's Labyrinth better win the right. That movie's fantastic. Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. So I'll just move on to mine. So I will give it to Blade Runner 2049.
Right.
Because it is the prettiest movie I have ever seen. Although there are obviously many. I actually consider Drive as well. The cinematographer, the legendary Roger Deakins, paired up with Villeneuve. That's a winning combo.
Oh, yes.
Right? And we kind of grew Best Directing and Cinematography together. Or at least I did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049, I say it every time it comes up, it's one of those movies you can hang any still shot from that movie on your wall and you look at it and you go, wow. Like, scenes live in my head even today. I won't go on and on about this, but this movie has it aged really well with me too, to the point that I should have given it my number one movie of that year. I gave Logan the nod, which, don't get me wrong, Logan is awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I probably would give it to Blade Runner now if I redid my list. But I mean, it was still number 2. And yeah, it's an astoundingly gorgeous movie. It's like Villeneuve's best directed movie.
And it's funny because it's aged well with you, and I think it's also aged well culturally. Good. Because at some point, the kids were able to grab something and kind of memify it a little bit, but not in like a making fun of it sort of way.
Yeah.
Like the line where she's like, you look lonely, I can fix that, has become something that gets used as like background music in TikToks and stuff like that, where it's like, that might seem like nothing. It's not. Trust me. It's not nothing to the culture of the internet today. Like that's, like you have to have that.
Alright, so now we move on to best editing. This is a weird one because we don't see the raw footage. We don't really know how good the editing is per se, but we do. We're doing what we can here. You can still kind of look at how it's...
What do you mean? We're big-time studio.
Well, yeah, I know that. I wasn't sure about this one, but I downloaded all my Criticker information. I searched for the word editing.
Yes.
And there was one review for the movie Branded to Kill. It's like I think it's like 70s, 60s, anyway. Where my entire review was about the editing. So I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
Big props for originality here. The editing is insane and takes it from what would probably have been a decent Yakuza/assassin movie and turns it into a batshit, insane, weird, dreamlike, incomprehensible mess in a great way. I know I saw the movie, obviously, but I often forget movies. That's pretty spot on. I don't know if I could pick a better movie than the one where I literally was like, my entire review is about the editing. And then it apparently saved the movie from being like an otherwise good but not amazing to something that like I thought was awesome.
Okay. So,
Branded to Kill.
There you go. I mean, I did the same thing with certain things in here. So that's when you've seen as many movies as certainly you've seen, but even I've seen. I think you.
Yeah, that one was hard.
The ability to do that.
I was like, I know that this is like some like a slightly more obscure-ish type movie, but so it's kind of like landing like a fart, but it's all I had for this one. This is like my least favorite pick, just because it's like, who talks about editing, right?
My choice for best editing is only a little bit more recent than that one is. It's Oppenheimer. So I chose Oppenheimer because I'm thinking like, okay, that it uses like its use of color or lack of color as a narrative device. Like almost to the point of like when something's happening in black and white, you're like, did this actually happen this way? Like I think it's by design. But you look at within one movie, you're going from color to black and white to time hopping to hopping into the future and going back and forth and back and forth. And we all know, obviously, what a genius Chris Nolan is. I just think with the editing in that movie essentially being used as a narrative device and as a rhetorical device, that was the one that stuck out in my head. I'm sure I could have dug a lot deeper to come up with other choices, but like as soon as I looked at editing, I was like, oh, Oppenheimer. Like it was just like, okay, that was, and I knew exactly why I wanted it to be my pick, so I'm like, Oppenheimer's gonna be my pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good reason. Yeah. I mean, it's best editing. Don't spend 3 days digging through your ratings, right?
Going through Oscar winners from the 60s, well, maybe this one.
Yeah.
Next one on the grid, we're about a quarter of the way through, I think. The next one on the grid is movie that's overhated. So when I was kind of building in my mind picture about what this choice would be, I had to think like, okay, my first thought was, this has to be a movie that's huge. Because if you're looking specifically at the terminology of overhated, it means it had to get a lot of hate. So I'm like, okay, small like indie flicks don't tend to get a lot of hate unless it's like the Melania documentary. I was like, I suppose I could have chosen that. My choice for this is The Last Jedi. Because y'all don't like Star Wars. I don't care if you call yourself Star Wars fans, you don't like Star Wars. Because you are like, well, I like Star Wars. No. You do nothing but bitch about Star Wars. That does not mean you love Star Wars. That means you need something to bitch about. I think that movie has way too much hate because I think it didn't give people... obviously it didn't give people what they wanted. But I think people went into that movie like I did. Because I had an expectation of the way that movie was going to go.
Yeah.
It didn't go that direction. And I was like, for a little bit, I was kind of like, I really wanted it to go in this particular way, and it's not that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, but that's, and again, that is like the whole spawn of the idea of like the expectation awards that we give. It's like, okay, like expected more, expected less, thought it was going to go in this direction, it didn't. Let's just look at what it was, and I thought what it was still a fine Star Wars movie. I think I gave it a rating higher than I should have. I think if I watched it again, I wouldn't give it the same rating.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, people talk about The Last Jedi like it like kicked their dog. I mean, my goodness. So for me, there were a number of ones that I could have gone with here, but I mean, like, just for the vitriol and the vitriolic hate that The Last Jedi received.
Yeah.
That's my choice.
I just...
And y'all Star Wars fans don't like Star Wars. I do.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, I'm actually with you. I mean, I don't think it's the most overrated, obviously, because it's not my pick.
Right.
But I do like your logic, because I gave it a 7 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I think it's like a good movie, you know. I still don't know that it's the best like Star Wars movie, but as a movie, it's good. And
to be fair, that's probably pretty close to what I would give it on a rewatch.
Like, and it does go for some cool swings. The problem is that trilogy had no real direction because it was like one director, different director than
Back to the
right.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird, but so he did what he could, and it took some swings, didn't always hit, but you're right. They talk about that movie like the movie that shall not be named, right? Because it's so horrific. It's like, if you honestly think that this is like the worst movie ever, you gotta watch some bad movies.
Right.
I know that always sounds elitist, and we all do it where there's a movie that really isn't the worst movie of all time, but it's our own biases making us hate it.
Yep.
But you're right about the Star Wars fans. Like, maybe they were Star Wars fans at a certain point, but they're not now. And it's okay to say you aren't now.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. Like, you could even say, I'm not really a fan, though I would like to be again.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great line.
Right? Like,
that's a great line.
I mean, I'm not really, like, I'm a Star Wars fan and that I like the movies and stuff, but I'm not really, like, a big Star Wars guy.
Right.
Even though I have loved some movies. This is just pure emotion. I don't have a defense, all right?
Okay.
But I'm still gonna fight everyone for it because I don't care. The most overhated movie, the one that's in my heart because I love it, Rocky V.
Yeah.
There is no defense because it's probably not a good movie, but it essentially like killed the franchise for a while. And people also talk about that movie like it's the worst thing of all time. But I gotta tell you, I would watch it today, and I would still really like it. Like, do I accept that it's not as good as the other Rockies? Yeah,
of course.
Like, it's literally the worst one. But I like it. I don't know. Like I said, I got no logical defense for it because I understand what it does wrong. But at the same time, it still maintains that kind of Rocky feel.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You know, the movie that I almost chose for this, but it was very, we can't be self-indulgent around here.
No.
But this would have been like a more self-indulgent pick, I think, than Last Jedi, was Sucker Punch.
I thought you might pick that.
Yeah.
But,
and I definitely thought of it, and I was like...
I mean, to be fair, I also thought about it.
Yeah.
When you were talking, I thought of a...
It's like our movie. It's
it is. I thought of a comedy pick while you were talking, for me to say Shudder. I just rant about you over hating it. Okay, so the next one is most underrated movie. I had a couple ways to go with this. I thought about the movie Knowing, Sci-Fi Nicolas Cage movie that only me and Roger Ebert like, and only one of us remains. And I do really like that movie. And then I thought about going to my classic pick. I think I picked this even when we did the 27, like the top 5s with the Library Chess production.
Yep.
I thought about going with Batman vs Superman.
Yep.
Because I adore that movie so much, and that gets a lot of hate. I mean, even if people don't think it's a 10, like I do because I'm dumb. like, it at least deserves like a 7, right? So I thought about going with that. I'm gonna go with like a slightly different twist, although it probably doesn't hit as hard. I'm gonna go with the movie, although you might remember it, Night in Paradise.
Oh, I remember the title.
It was this Korean movie in 2021, 2020 that I really loved at the time, and it's only gotten better with time. It might actually be my favorite like Korean movie period. Every time you search for like Google like best Korean movies, Night in Paradise is never on there. You get Old Boy, you get all these other ones, the classics, right? Like, you know, and then that's great. They're all great movies, but you never see Night in Paradise on there, and I think it's fantastic. So that's why I'm going with underrated, because the people who watch Korean movies don't rate it high enough.
Right.
I went hyper specific for this one, just to be a little different this time around, because I could just rant about Batman vs Superman again.
I was waiting for you to say again.
90 millionth time in my life, but I don't want to. I want to shine some light on Night in Paradise. A great, like, South Korean action drama. There's not like a shit ton of action, but when it happens, it's cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as a pick. I like the framework, the framing of that pick.
I had to show some love to Korea.
Yeah, my choice for this, I might be able to actually classify this as a movie that we underrated.
Oh, I like this. I like this framing.
Okay, here we go. Like a catcher just framing straight 3 right there on the corner, right? Because we talk quite extensively at times, just in general, but specifically about this, about like animated movies. I know I do this a lot. We both do, but I do this a lot. Animated movies that are like, okay, this animated movie is great for kids, but it gives the adults content, and it get like you watch it and you're like, oh, cool. And we kind of have classics when we talk about this. Like we've talked about Wolf Walkers. I've talked a lot about Poop Out Chimney Town in this context. Wall-E, Kubo and the Two Strings. Like there's a lot that we've talked about in this context. You know what we very rarely talk about? 9.
Really?
9.
Yes.
Yes. So the Elijah Wood post-apocalyptic movie where he's almost like a beanbag boy. Nobody talks about 9. Almost nobody saw that movie. No. I think it made like $40 million or something on like a $20 million budget. So by the Hollywood scale, they would have called it a bomb. Like, again, nobody saw it. Nobody really talks about it. It's not even appreciated on the level of, like, a Paranorman, which I could have thought about for this one as well. Nobody talks about it. Certainly not even in this context that we talk about a bunch. So I think we even underrate this movie, even though, as I started framing it, you picked it up.
I instantly went to 9.
Which is really, really good. But yeah, I don't think we talk about it. It deserves to be, again, the same way with your example for Night in Paradise, it deserves to be mentioned amongst one of them greats. You know what I mean? Like, it deserves to be up there. And we don't even really do it. I don't think very many other people do it either. So I'm going with 9.
This is my favorite pick.
Nice.
Not even just of mine, of yours, like both of ours. This is such a good pick. I wish I could say more about 9. I just don't remember it much. I remember there was like one scene that I occasionally try to find and watch it again. But aside from that, I don't really remember anything besides like really loving it. And it is definitely one of these animated movies that I gotta rewatch, because I have no doubt if I did, it would be top 5 animated.
Yeah.
Because that movie is so special. And you're right, we don't talk about it. You know what, but also, you know, a bit of a tangent. Another animated movie that I think is very underrated, the TMNT movie. Around the same time. I watched that a few times. I think that movie's amazing. That is also amongst my favorite animated movies, which I underrate because I never talk about it, but I actually love that too. But 9 is such a good pick.
And we flip over to the other side of that coin. Most overrated movie for us of all time. And for me, it could only be 2. The one that I didn't go with it because we are both in very objectively solid agreement about that movie.
Okay.
About the particular movie that I didn't choose. And that movie is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
We're both
I considered it.
right. We're both very in agreement about that. I don't know that we'll be in agreement for this.
Yay.
And 95% of the world, I don't think, is in agreement with me in choosing this. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that movie that did a bunch of stuff that a bunch of other movies from Korea and from the Asian part of the world have done, but this is the one that blew up in North America, so they're like, oh my god, look at all this cool stuff. I'm like, and it's not that it's like, oh, this whole movie is derivative of da-da. That's not the only reason. That movie bored me, man. Like, it
took a long time to get going for me.
Yeah.
It got going, I enjoyed it, but
that movie didn't give me anything. So, like, it wasn't the worst thing I saw that year, but I was just like, wow, everybody thinks this. And I think that won Best Picture, or was nominated for Best Picture, or whatever. It was nominated for quite a bit. And I'm like, there are so many other movies that could be in these spots. To me, that is the single most overrated film of all time.
We both, to some degree, overrated it that year too, because like I remember us being like, "Oh, geez, I put this too high." And I think it was a pick you would redo on too, and I overrated it because when I first saw it, I was like 85, but I'm like, why did I give it an 85? Like now I still think it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. I still think it's like a 7. Or a 7.5. Like, it's fun, and there are great moments, but man, people were just going crazy over it. I mean, that's the definition of overrated, right? Like, you just don't think it's a 9 out of 10 or whatever people think, or 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'll do you probably one better.
Okay.
Although not as current, so maybe.
Okay.
I'm going with my old faithful for this pick. It's the first one I think of, and before I say it, I actually don't hate this movie. I actually think it's like an 8 out of 10, but here's why it's overrated. Well, it's The Shawshank Redemption.
Ooh.
I think this movie's an 8 out of 10, okay? But people act like this is the greatest movie of all time, and if you ever say it isn't, then you're done.
Right.
I had a website where I wrote about movies. True. And I did a thing about movies based on Stephen King's properties, right? Mm-hmm. Hot takes, right? And I started it with Shawshank Redemption is overrated. Now, right under I said, I just don't think it's the best movie ever. I would say the same thing about Citizen Kane. But, like, Shawshank Redemption is more fun to talk about. But I said, I think it's an 8 out of 10. I just don't think it's the best movie ever. And this guy, because Zach posted the article, in the comments like, I read that and I stopped reading. And I was like, see, that's what people act like.
Yeah.
When I say the Shawshank Redemption is not a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. It's overrated. It is completely solid. Good performances, good, like, pretty emotional storytelling. But I remember watching it even back then being like, oh yeah, this is really good, but like, really? This is the movie that people are like obsessed over? Like, oh, how could you ever? Like, everybody I talk to, even my older brother, who doesn't even talk to me about movies much, like, really? You think that's overrated? It's like, yeah, I do. No, but my pick is a movie that I objectively like a decent amount, but still think it's overrated.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is needs a sequel, which is tough for me because I don't really watch many movies and go like, oh, I need to see a sequel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fantasy book, you know, like, oh, needs a sequel. But this is a good one, I think. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, and I'll tell you why, because he had 2. He wanted to make 2 more. Maybe they would be garbage. I think the Snyder Cut is a fantastic superhero movie, but I would have liked to see where it went. Because there was all these little breadcrumbs of things that are going to happen. And because, you know, things happen, we'll never get to see the Snyder Cut Part 2 and 3.
Right.
And I really wanted to see what he was going to do.
A follow-up question from the Washington Post. Would you accept, like, if he got the licensing and everything and got the okay, if he did, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, let's say, as, like, animated movies?
I would take it, yeah. Right. At this point, it's not what I would have wanted.
No.
Because, like, you know, I liked the casting of all them and stuff. Right. I would like to see them again. But yeah, if he had to fill it up with animated, yeah, I would take that at this point.
My movie that deserves a sequel, needs a sequel.
Yes.
is one that here's the carrot, and they've been dangling the carrot in front of our face for 17 years. District 9.
Oh, they've been dangling a carrot for this?
Yeah, because they've been talking about District 10 since like 2010.
Surprised he hasn't gone back to the well. Because,
Right.
like, he was a rising star, and then he just...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't remember the dude's name now.
Charlton Copley. No, that's the actor.
Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah. Blomkamp,
Like,
right.
no one talks about him anymore, but after District 9, they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were just like, wow, this guy's like the next big name in like sci-fi direction, and he was kind of going that way, and then just
Yeah.
And my problem with it, the reason I said like it needs a sequel, A, that movie was genius.
Yeah.
But B, because the conversation around the sequel went from like there's a District 10 script on my desk to yeah, I've got the treatment for it, and we all really want to make it. Charlton Copley's on board, and like this movie's getting made. To we still really want to do it. To I don't know if it's ever going to get done. And that's been the trajectory of the conversation around a sequel for one of the best sci-fi movies of the 2000s. And made in 2009 and still has really, really relevant things to say about the state of the world. Certainly in that world, but then in the larger context. One of the greatest guerrilla marketing campaigns that we ever saw for a movie. Where they just put up this random website and it was just like full of lore around this movie that hadn't even come out yet at this point. But again, it's been dangled in front of the faces of District 9 fans for like 17 years and still hasn't happened. And hopefully it does someday. It needs it. It deserves it. That's why District 9 is my choice.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with everything you say there. That makes sense. The only thing I'd be scared of now is like the director has kind of shown that I wouldn't call him a one-trick pony. Because I didn't hate Elysium or the one with the robot. Oh my god, whatever.
Oh, Chappie.
Nobody really liked that movie, but
No,
I remember we liked it.
Yeah.
I overrated it at the time.
Probably.
But I still enjoyed it. And I know he's done like some short films because he was doing like some shorts. He had like a company or something. I would watch them and they were pretty cool. But I'd be scared that it wouldn't be that good now.
Right.
Because I don't know that... I feel like that guy might have just had that one in him.
Up next is Criminally Overlooked, and my choice for this is going to be fairly brief because it's a movie I could have picked for two of the last three that we did.
Yeah.
And
because they're so close to each other.
Exactly.
Underrated, overlooked.
Right, totally. So it's for me, this one is Paranorman. I very easily could have been like, needs a sequel, because Paranorman never got a full sequel. It got a short sequel, but it's not done in the same animation style. It's done it's basically fully CG. I'm gonna go Criminally Overlooked because I think, once again, I think it might have made 100 milli at the box
Well, it was about the
office.
same people who made like Kubo and stuff later.
Yeah.
Like all their movies are overlooked. They don't like. It's the only reason they survive is because the owner's like a billionaire.
Yes.
And he's just like, I want to make movies. Though.
Exactly. It's Laika.
Yeah, that's
Laika,
it. Yeah, that's it.
Dude, I love that movie, and I think that movie holds up incredibly well even today, but not a movie that is talked about with the same reverence as whatever the latest it's not talked about with as much reverence as the Minions.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you're wildly overlooking this movie. Another animated movie, or another movie in general with a great marketing campaign.
Yes.
You attach that Donovan song, "Season of the Witch," which fits it so well. I love that movie. It is very, very overlooked.
Yeah, I should have just picked a in general.
Yeah.
Because their new movie that's coming will probably be overlooked too.
100%.
I'm gonna go on to mine. I'm not gonna stay long on it. I actually mentioned this earlier. Whether it gets on video or not, I don't know. Parasite Eve, the Japanese movie.
Yes.
I think that's a great horror movie, and no one talks about it, right? not even within those circles.
Right.
Of like the J horror circles, they don't really talk about Percy. Once in a while, you'll see it mentioned, but maybe it's not really that good. I just happen to love it because people don't know. I'm like Parasite Eve, video game is my favorite game. It's different than and then I read the book and I love the book, so I love the movie, so it's like a bias. But like, yeah, Parasite Eve is kind of overlooked. Even if you're like best foreign horror movies, you're never gonna see Parasite Eve in that list.
Right.
It may be deserving, but I still think it's like at the very least worth a watch because it does some cool stuff and has a cool story. I remember the visuals being kind of wonky because it's not like super high budget, you know.
Right.
But you get over it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you need something of a budget to really
Yeah.
pull that off. Yeah.
yeah, because even some of the great older horror movies, some of it looks a little wonky, and you just kind of accept, that was the time, right? And if it doesn't have the budget or whatever, So yeah, my pick is Parasite Eve.
Whereas today we rake movies over the coals for that because it's just like, dude, there's got to be a way to make that look better than that.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is favorite actor. Historically, I'd go with Denzel Washington. I could still go with Denzel Washington.
That was my expectation.
I love Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Christian Bale. Because they're like the 1-2, and then you can throw in Humphrey Bogart. They're like my 3 favorite actors, like of all time,
Yeah.
right? But I'm gonna go with Christian Bale just because, I mean, like he was super important to me. Like again, when I mentioned this earlier, when I first started getting into movies, like he was like the actor. I think even before I really started to love Denzel, now that I think about it, where like I noticed him, like because I saw him in The Machinist, I saw him in American Psycho, I saw him in whatever, and it was like before The Dark Knight. Well, Batman Begins, I guess I would have seen him in like fairly early in my serious film buff career or whatever. And yeah, he's just always come with me. I've always been like, yeah, Christian Bale. He slowed down a lot over the last few years and doesn't always go in movies that I really, really want to see. But he always nails it. He's always like the best part.
Yes.
Or well, not always, because I mean, The Dark Knight Heath Ledger was the best part. But I mean, like he often is the best part of any movie. The fighter. Like just all kinds of movies. What he went through with The Machinist.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
He's the best part of that movie.
And like people don't love Equilibrium, but I like that movie quite a bit. That was another one around then. American Psycho, like I mentioned, his performance was awesome. I love Christian Bale, but yes, Denzel Washington obviously also deserves the praise because he's the best actor working today, and really one of the greats. I'm gonna say it.
100%.
But I mean, Christian Bale has a special place in my heart that even Denzel doesn't have, I suppose.
Criticker told me my favorite actor was Viggo Mortensen.
Okay.
I don't think of him as much in that term.
Yeah.
Still an actor that I love, but like doesn't feel like he's in this conversation. But I'm glad you touched on something when you were talking about actors where you're like, in the movies that you love, they're awesome. In the movies that are kind of middle of the pack, they're probably the best part of it. Even in some movies that are like kind of down here, you're like, they're either the best part of that movie or God bless them, they're trying.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, who's the actor that fits that mold for me? And the answer is James McAvoy.
Interesting.
Because I'm thinking like, in the movies that I love him in, Split. And like there was a horror movie that came out a couple of years ago that was like, it was like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm like, God bless him, he's trying.
Oh, yeah.
And every single one of his movies, I go back and look at my reviews and I'm just like, every single one of them is like, McAvoy's great. McAvoy's great. McAvoy's awesome in this. God bless him, he's trying. And it's like I'm always mentioning McAvoy specifically. And he's always either the best part of the movie, like the X-Men movies that he's in. He's always like either the best part of the movie, or like he's up there and he's great. And he's got the volume for me too, because he's been in a ton of things that I've seen, and I'm always mentioning him whether I'm intending to or not, as like, he's great in this. I loved him in this. And anytime I see James McAvoy's name attached to something, I'm far more likely to go see it.
Yes.
So I have to give it to James McAvoy.
Yeah, so 2 things. like, it's funny you mentioned Criticker telling you what your favorite would be. Mine would probably tell me Stallone is mine because it just goes by like the rankings of the movies.
Yeah.
And if I rated almost every Rocky movie a 10 out of 10,
Right.
It's like, oh, he must really like Stallone. It's
Criticker
like,
also tells me Stallone's my favorite director.
yeah, well, they tell me that Rachel Corrine is one of my favorite actresses because she was in a bunch of Harmony Korine movies.
Exactly.
Right? She was in like Spring Breakers and stuff. So it's like, okay, yeah, I don't think that's really quite it.
Or like Jason Mewes is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. So I have a hard time going by Criticker for that stuff because it's so weird. I'm not like going to see a movie because of McAvoy, but I really like him. But what I do know about McAvoy is that every time I see him, he's gonna be great. Mm-hmm. So he's always gonna be putting in that work. So it's always a good thing to have him in the movies. Yeah. I don't think I have the emotional connection to him where I go, yeah, you know, James McAvoy. But I'm pretty sure I gave him either Best Actor or one of. Did we do it the year Split came out?
Yes, I believe.
But he must have been in my top 3. Like if he wasn't, then shame on me. Unless that year was really good. But yeah, James McAvoy is a completely solid choice because he's a great actor.
Yeah. So along the same vein for me, favorite actress James McAvoy.
In a wig.
In a wig. One of his 23 personalities in fucking Israel 177. In much the same vein, deciding my favorite actress, I was looking at like, okay, same deal. In a movie that's great, she's fantastic. In a movie that's kind of not great but very good, she's the best part. Even in a movie that's not great, God bless her, she's trying. My favorite actress of all time is Jessica Chastain.
Oh, I was kind of guessing Amanda Seyfried for some reason.
Fair enough.
But this one makes sense.
Think of like The Zookeeper's Wife. I think of Molly's Game. And again, even in a movie like The Martian, where obviously she's not the main part of that movie, I watch like every second of screen time she has in that movie. I'm like, she's so fantastic in this. And again, even in movies that she's in that aren't the greatest, it's like, God bless her, she's trying. She's probably the best part of this for me.
Yeah. Because
the rest of this movie's cruising along at about a 4 out of 10. But at least Jessica Chastain's there to pull it up to a 7. So again, same vein as choosing McAvoy, I'm gonna go Jessica Chastain, and that's 2 like mid first movie awards era people. Because like they're not prolific today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're not working as much as like Sydney Sweeney or Timothée Chalamet is working now or whatever. But another one where if I see the name attached to it, if I see the name on the marquee, I'm like, put a star beside that one. Definitely seeing that one because that person is enough to draw me to that movie specifically.
Yeah, I mean, she stuck out to me with the Zookeeper's Wife. I thought that was a great performance. She's good and everything. I just don't watch a ton of her movies, I don't think. So that's... When you mention it, I'm like, yeah, of course. Because there's like these, maybe like 4 actresses that you always mention, and she's one of them. So that's a good pick. So for my favorite actress, I'm kind of going to switch what I did with the men, because with the men, I went with the one that when I first got into movies... You know, Christian Bale was my boy. Mm-hmm. Then I kind of moved on to Denzel Washington afterwards, but, you know, Christian Bale's still in there. This way I'm not going to pick the woman that when I first started seriously getting into movies was my favorite.
So it was going to be Naomi Watts.
Yes, it was Naomi Watts, because I got to talk about Naomi Watts.
Look at how, see how well we know each other?
Like, I got to talk about Naomi Watts before I give my one.
Yes.
Because... she's so good. She doesn't have the diversity of roles per se as some other actresses. Like, I always say this, but you don't see her in like action movies per se. Right. But she still does like weird, like she did like weird David Lynch movies. But really, it's like if you want a drama, you stick Naomi Watts in there.
Yes.
And she's like the best at it. Mm-hmm. Like she is so good. But I will go with Emily Blunt. Because she does have that diversity. She can do action. I mean, maybe Naomi Watts has done like musicals. I've never seen everything she did, but like Emily Blunt can do the musicals. She can do the comedies. She can do dramas.
Yes.
Though her drama acting is fantastic, it's not Naomi Watts level, but but she can do like I guess Naomi Watts has done horror too, but like Emily Blunt obviously in A Quiet Place is like one of my favorite performances from any female ever.
Yeah.
Right? She has that diversity, always good to see her. Like, Emily Blunt is a fantastic actress. If she doesn't go down when all is said and done, at least after, like, when we, like, she needs to go down as one of the greats. At least of this era, right? Like, she has to. Because she's so good.
Yeah.
But maybe she won't. Maybe she'll never get that respect. But she gets a lot of respect, though. People like Emily Blunt. But I think she's one of the greatest actresses to ever do it. So I'll go with Emily Blunt. But Naomi Watts deserves... You know, she kind of goes under the radar these days. But honestly, though, like, her performance in, like, Mulholland Drive is also one of my favorite performances, period. Of, like, any, like, actress ever. Okay, so the next one is Best Score. Now, I don't know if you approach it this way, but Best Score sometimes differs from, like, Best Soundtrack. And, like,
yes.
Like, so I went, like, something instrumental. I won't spend too much time on this because it's not going to land super well, but, like, Workmeister Harmonies. It has like 2 songs that I've listened to a lot over the years, and it just perfectly fits the themes and whatever of the movie. So, you know, that's one of my favorite foreign movies. You know, rest in peace, Bellatar, because he died, early? Did he die last year?
I think it was last year.
He died last year. That kind of hit me a little bit because he made some great movies. That's my favorite of his. I think that movie's astounding. And there was one scene specifically in the hospital where one of the songs plays, and it's just, every time I hear it, it always just puts me in how friggin' sad that scene is. It's a great soundtrack, or great score, whatever. So yeah, Workmeister Harmonies is the best score in my humble opinion.
And this is a tough award because there's so many, like there's like 10 movies a year. Where you get 20 movies a year, more, where you're just like, wow, the score, the music in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. I'm not going to say I punted on this, because it's not a punt. I think it is a good answer, but I'm picking a movie that I really wanted to highlight, but couldn't find another spot. I'm going to go Last Night in Soho.
Okay, cool.
Because I just love that movie a lot and wanted to talk about it. The soundtrack in that movie, I remember picking it out at the time, being like, wow, I really like the way music is employed in this movie and the soundtrack in this movie, and it's a pretty persistent soundtrack, especially when when she's in the past.
Yeah.
It's a pretty persistent soundtrack. It's in the background, but it's like, man, these scenes, some of the best scenes in this movie don't hit nearly as hard without the way the background music is being employed in this. So I just wanted to go with Last Night in Soho. I couldn't find another place to mention it. I liked it a lot, and it just so happens that the music works really well for it, so I'm going to give it best score.
Wow, Edgar Wright knows how to pick music for his movies.
I know, right? I could have taken Baby Driver.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot to mention I did consider Peg. I really like the soundtrack for that, especially one song as well. And then right after I got done talking, I realized that I also really like the Donnie Darko score.
Yeah.
I've listened to that a lot.
Best individual song, just best song is up next. And in the grid, like we just sort of mentioned off camera, in the grid it does say songs. So it kind of gives you the option to be like, yeah, but all the music. So like if somebody chose like a K-pop Demon Hunters for this, I totally get it, because like Golden would be good enough there, but then like the other songs that are in it too. So totally would have made sense for something like that. I'm gonna go with another animated movie. I'm gonna go with Elemental. And the one song, kind of the song for that I always think of that represents that movie for me is the Lauv song "Steal the Show."
So I don't remember it at this point.
All right, and the reason that I chose that is not only because it's an emotionally evocative song for me, and it hits me on emotional levels that I'm not 1,000% sure why it hits me so hard, but it definitely does. And it also had a life. It then had a life outside of the movie. Like it kind of hit the cultural conversation outside of just like, hey, this is a good song within this movie, because there's always those.
Yeah, I wish I remembered it, so I'll just move on to mine.
Sure.
This isn't my pick, but I was just thinking like that Olivia Rodrigo song that was in the Hunger Games movie, that Catch Me.
Yes.
Now. I actually really like that song, and I never considered it.
Catch Me Now.
Catch Me Now. Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it, but you know what? I'll go with Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters. It's a tough call because I also love Free and what it sounds like, and they all give me completely different experiences. I went with Golden just because that's like the big one.
Yeah.
Right, and you can still slap on Golden and I'll listen to it and it'll put me right back into that spot. There has not been a soundtrack I've listened to more than K-Pop Demon Hunters. It's the individual, all the songs slap hard in that movie, but even the score is great, like the actual score that no one talks about ever. Golden's brilliant.
It is.
What a beautiful song. It uplifts you. You know, even though I'm not really doing anything cool, it still makes me feel like I am.
Yes.
I'm listening to Golden and I'm like, just type something on my computer.
Right.
You know? But yeah, I love K-Pop Demon Hunters. I love the soundtrack. I love Golden. So I'm going to go with that.
The only other one that I really seriously considered for this was from the Lady Gaga Bradley Cooper remake of A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Shallow.
Yeah, Shallow's good.
Right? Because that's another one that took on a life entirely of its own outside of the context of the movie.
Yeah, Shallow's a good song.
And that was originally, that was going to be my pick for this. And then I'm like, no, man. I'm going to take Lauv just a little bit ahead of that. But
all right, so the next one is not usually my thing, but... And I'm going to go with Terrifier 2.
yeah, fair.
I'm not a gore hound. And I said the year it came out that I told Robbie I wasn't going to watch it because I saw it was like, a clown gory movie, woohoo.
Right.
And then I watched it, and it turns out it's one of the best horror movies ever made.
And then you watched it many more times.
And then I watched it a bunch more. And yeah, Terrifier is such an outlier for me, even in horror. Because like obviously most horror has some gore.
Yep.
But that's not what I'm there for.
Right.
Like I said this off camera, but I'm like a J-horror guy because I prefer atmosphere and horror imagery and storytelling over, his head got cut off and the blood. Unless it's like that really like the cheesy like samurai type stuff where you cut off their hand and it just squirts. Like I like that stuff because it's comical to me.
Right.
But like realistic gore is never a selling point. In fact, for Terrifier, that's not even the selling point for me. I don't really care what Art the Clown, how he kills them. I'm there for everything else. Now, mind you, Terrifier 2 especially has the big bedroom scene, which actually disgusts me. How much joy he takes in it and what he puts her through. That it's like deeply effective to me. So, like in that sense, the gore is effective, but that's not why I'm really there. I'm there for the Art the Clown, and I'm there for everything else. But so Terrifier 2 would not normally be my thing, but it was made so exceptionally well, and Art the Clown's so memorable, and Sierra's so memorable, and the story was cool, that it got over that, like, oh yeah, this movie's so disturbing and gory, to being like one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Nice.
So, yeah, Terrifier 2.
My answer for this one's kind of a quickie. Not normally my thing, but K-Pop Demon Hunters. That's a movie that is so not made for me. I am not the target demographic of K-Pop Demon Hunters. I know nothing about K-dramas. I know nothing about K-pop.
Yeah.
It's just not made for me, and yet I'm watching this, I'm like, this is brilliant. This movie is so good. And again, not necessarily something that should have worked for me. Not normally my thing. I'm definitely not going to be, leaning into the manga adaptations and things like that. Like it's not me, but that movie slaps.
I agree. I didn't consider it because I'm actually I was not really that surprised. I was surprised I liked it as much as I do, obviously. But I like the contrast between like these badasses doing something completely not badass. I'll liken it to Lollipop Chainsaw, like the video game.
Yeah.
A cheerleader who kills zombies and it's all glittery. That actually appeals to me because the contrast is nice.
Yeah.
So the reason I watched it originally was like Demon Hunters, but they're doing K-pop. Now I wasn't into K-pop at the time. I am now. But like I wasn't into it, but I did have like my fingers in some Korean movies and whatnot. But not like as invested, But so I wasn't totally surprised, but I can see your logic of why. And I mean, and that's fair because a lot of people who have seen that have been like, that I've known even, that have been like, yeah, I did not think I was gonna. I didn't watch it because people liked it.
No.
I was like, yeah, I can see that.
We're in the home stretch here of our grid to kick off the Mid-Year Movie Awards in 2026. The next one up is It's Just So Much Fun, in quotation marks. So, a movie that, man, if nothing else, it is just so much fun to watch this movie. And I could have, for this, chosen the entirety, I think, of the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, but I'm going to stick specifically with Hot Fuzz.
Oh, that's what I'd go with.
Hot Fuzz, to me, that movie is just so much fun to watch. And it's not just that it's funny, which it is. It's very funny. That movie is just so much fun to watch, and the world that they built in that little community is just so much fun to experience, like the Nicholas Angel character kind of pull the seams apart of this little community, and it's that movie is just such a joy every time I put it on. And part of this too is like, so I have the DVD for this upstairs, and I think the DVD for Hot Fuzz might have the greatest DVD extras of any DVD I've ever had. Like, just like every second of the blooper reel is fantastic. Every second of the documentary there's like an hour and a half long documentary that's on here about like the making of the movie and traveling with the movie and whatever. So it's like Nick Frost and Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg just like traveling with the movie, and like basically just their kind of making of and behind the scenes doc about it. That's fantastic. The deleted scenes on it are fantastic. So that I think is part of it too, because now I have so many, like there's so many points of joy about that movie that extend beyond the movie itself. But man, everything about that movie is just so much fun.
What sums up how much fun that movie is for me is, and I'm going to censor myself, don't worry.
Okay.
It's like, you're off the effing chain. That's like one of the all-time great movie lines to me. I love that part so much, and that pretty much sums it up. It's like,
So I said, time to move, and I hit him with a peace lily.
Alright, I'm going to go into mine. I don't think I can spend much time on this, unless you're like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
There was a movie in 1977, I think.
Oh yeah, that one.
Just one. From Japan, called House.
Okay.
I might have mentioned House to you, like, in the conversation. I don't know. It's this horror movie about basically a house that eats people. Now, why this movie is so much...
mentioned this.
Why this movie is so much fun is because, like, it's a horror movie, but it's not scary. I don't know how anybody could possibly be scared, except there is, like, some moments of, like, some actually surprisingly really good horror imagery.
Okay.
But what makes it fun is that it's ridiculous. Like, to put it in perspective, the director, when doing, like, the special effects, was like, I want the special effects to look like a kid made them. And they do. And he leads into it. So, like, even, like, the soundtrack can be, like, quite upbeat, and yet they're trying to sell it as a horror movie. But I remember watching it, being like, this movie is just so much fun. It's also one of, like, my favorite, like, Japanese movies, period. But yeah, like, House is really fun, and I don't know what else to say, but it's ridiculous. In the best way.
Nice.
Okay, the next one is the best movie to watch with friends. Now, here's the thing about this one. I've obviously gone to the theater a lot with you and watched a lot of movies at your house, and I've watched some movies with people, but, like, movie watching is not really a friend experience. Like, I'm not like, hey, boys, let's all come over and watch this movie, right? So I'm going to take it, like, a slightly different route, because, like, I could say, like, you know, our Clerks 2 experience at the theater, which was a good experience, but I feel like this means more like, oh, we're all hooting and hollering watching this movie, and I don't really have that I can remember, unless we had, like, a movie as a group of friends when we were younger that I just don't remember, maybe. I don't know. But, like...
Other than Fahrenheit 9/11, I think were you there with us?
No, I wasn't even there for that, so I can't even pick that. So, I'm gonna go with Grave of the Fireflies. Now, do you know anything about this?
I know the name.
If you type into Google, saddest movie of all time, Grave of the Fireflies will probably show up, at least somewhere. And I picked this because I just want to watch my friends cry. You can take from that what you want. I just want to watch them all cry.
All right.
Because like I said, I don't have the experience of, like, 8 of us being like, oh. Like, maybe, like, back in the day, had we all gotten together and watched, like, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because I know, like, at least within a bunch of us, that movie was really we really like that movie, but like I don't have that. Like I don't like I sat here and I thought about it, and I was like, what's a movie that I've watched like a group of people?
Right.
And I don't have it, really. Right. So I went with a comedy pick, basically.
I took an interesting angle on this. I think this is both a legacy choice and a choice that works for me specifically. So, I want to bring you back. The year is, I think, 1998.
Okay.
Not when this movie came out, but the year is 1998. Me and you and the first girl I ever loved watched 2 movies.
Oh, we did 2?
We did 2.
Was I there for the other?
I'm positive we watched.
Okay, well,
2.
tell me what.
So the one that we watched was Run Lola
Yes,
Run.
that one I remember.
We watched that. But did we not also watch
Rocky Horror?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show?
We might have, actually.
I'm pretty sure we did.
No, you know what? I think you're right. Yeah.
And they were definitely not you and I picks, because also at this point we're like what? That we'd be 14 and 15 and 14, I think.
Yeah.
So trust me, we ain't picking the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Run Lola Run. But,
like
she was an
kid,
she was a theater kid, artsy girl.
Yeah.
Totally made sense. And to me, Rocky Horror is a legacy pick too, because like that movie's been out for 50 years now. And yet still there are people who every week dress up like the characters, go to a movie theater and shout the lines at the movie. Mm-hmm. So I mean, when you're thinking of a movie that for its entire lifespan has been like, this movie is incredible to go to with a group of friends that are really into Rocky Horror. Yeah. It has endured for decades. Yeah. So it's both a legacy pick and a pick that makes sense within the context of the Justin and Tyler movie universe.
Yeah,
so we're gonna go with Rocky Horror.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And I'm pretty sure that was the first time I had seen Rocky Horror.
Yeah, it's the only time I've seen Rocky Horror.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I was thinking like K-pop Demon Hunter Sing Along is kind of similar, although obviously doesn't have the lasting impact of Rocky Horror. Well, but then I thought like, but I don't really want to go to a theater and hear people sing along to the songs. I just want to hear the song. So I'm kind of a downer because I don't really take a lot of joy in the stuff that you're talking about.
Right. Up next is Best Old Movie. So for this, I wanted to ensure that I was picking a movie that was like around my age or older. Like, I was comfortable picking a movie that existed before I was born, but like something around that or earlier. My choice for Best Old Movie is Spaceballs. And we're finally, next year, I guess, getting the next Spaceballs. Yeah, man, I could watch, you can put that movie on in front of me at any time, and I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna get to watch Spaceballs again. I'm gonna laugh myself stupid at jokes I've seen 100 times. Yeah. And like the fact that I could still enjoy that after this long, I've been watching Spaceballs now for like 30 years. Man, that was, now there were like, I could have chosen Labyrinth for this. I could have chosen Princess Bride for this. There were Network. I remember, like, I wish I would have watched Network like 10 years before I did, at least.
Yeah, Network's great.
Such a good movie. But yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with Spaceballs. The one that has endured the most.
I mean, Spaceballs is like endlessly quotable. I even quote it to people at work. Like, I mean, this other guy. I often quote the, "When will then be now?"
Soon.
Because that's like probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. Yeah. I love that scene. But I love, there's so many. We could spend all this time just going over the scenes in Spaceballs.
100%.
So that's a great pick. I mean, I'm going to go with my long-time favorite, really old and also foreign movie. I'm going to go with Stalker. Which I've often put in my top 5 of all time. Tarkovsky's best movie. It's like a dystopian movie, but it's very slow, long shots. Philosophical, beautiful movie by an absolute legend, rest in peace. Not many people made movies like him because not many people wanted to have like 10-minute unbroken shots, routinely. Right. Like, 'cause like we'll see we'll see movies that do it every now and again. I'm like, wow, amazing. And then Tarkovsky was just off doing it. He was just like, I was just saying. Now, mind you, he wasn't doing massive action set pieces and stuff. They were more like ponderous and, you know, whatever, slower. But Stalker is a fantastic movie.
Here's a piece of inside baseball for the Justin and Tyler universe here. The reason that I knew that movie would be in there somewhere. Whether it was your favorite or not, I wasn't sure. But one of the first library chess videos we ever did was the top 5 favorite movies of all time. So I have saved as a template. You know, when you're watching and the yellow comes up, the text, the yellow text,
Oh,
we're doing
really?
the award, whatever. The template that I have saved for that, the stinger on the bottom says Tyler number 5, Stalker. So it was your number 5 best favorite movie of all time when we did that video.
Yeah, I mean, like, this day and age, I'm kind of more simplistic, and I watch, like, movies that are just more exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, so Stalker drops out of the top 5, but that doesn't mean that the movie got worse. It's just...
No.
My watching habits are kind of more childish now.
Right.
As I get older, I'm like, yeah, superhero movies. But I do still love Stalker.
Animated.
You know, I watched Stalker. Well, actually, I probably haven't watched it since 2017. I probably watched it before we did that video.
Could very well have, yeah.
And I loved it back then. Like, I was like, yeah, this movie held up absolutely. So. All right, so the next one is Best Long Movie, 3 hours plus. I actually had a hard time with this because I could have went with a Bellatar movie like Satan Tango or whatever, however you pronounce it. That was like 7 or 8 hours. But
Sure.
I'm never going to watch that again. That was a hard watch because it was super slow and I appreciated it, but I watched it like 4 sittings, you know?
Right.
So I'm not going to pick that. But that would be a fun pick because it was like the longest movie I've ever seen. I'm going to go just simple, but Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
I would go Infinity War, but it's not 3 hours.
Oh, does it fall just short?
Yeah, Infinity War isn't 3 hours. So, I can't go with Infinity War, which is a better movie.
Yes.
Endgame is a fantastic movie, though. Even though I'm not like a big time travel guy, really, but it was a nice way to kind of look back at the last 10 years of the MCU and recontextualize things, add some emotional moments, have some cool action. I mean, there is never gonna be anything in movie like the first, like the Infinity Saga.
Right.
And Endgame was the end of that, and it's truly special. Like, yeah, like there's obviously going to be other moments. Like, I mean, there was Star Wars. Like, there's never going to be anything like the first 3 Star Wars ever again, you know? Ended by a truly special movie. So my favorite 3 hour plus movie is Endgame.
Okay. So this was another one for me where, like, my easy answer to this should be Return of the King because it's 3 hours, right? And it's my favorite movie of all time. It's like, but again, I committed to, I wasn't going to double up.
Yeah.
So I was looking and I was like, and again, same deal, like, you know, Endgame would be kind of a layup pick here. And I think if I went by actual rating, that it probably would have been the choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with something different simply because I wanted to make mention of a movie that I believe you and I saw together. I don't think it was in theater. Blue is the Warmest Color.
No, you watched it by yourself.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought we watched this together.
I don't think.
Geez, maybe not.
I don't know. I like that movie too.
I could have. I may have
3 hours.
That was 3 hours long.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Blue is the Warmest Color. A movie with an actress that I thought was going to be like massive. Adele Exarchopoulos.
I'd have to see her.
So she was the young girl, and I thought she was going to be a superstar off of this movie. Like, she is so good in this movie. And then Lea Seydoux, who does go on to have a pretty good, and is still having a pretty damn good career. 2 girls that, you know, one's 15 years old, I think, and they meet in a lesbian bar, and they have this illicit affair for 3 hours. And it doesn't sound like much of anything, but man, when I tell you this movie just hits you on an emotional level. It's so incredibly well done. And it doesn't, I don't think even at the time it felt like it, well, you were just like, that's 3 hours? I don't think it felt like 3 hours at the time, and I don't think it would if I watched it again now. But I just wanted to shout out Blue is the Warmest Color.
As you should, because that was a good movie. Also, that's a great title.
That is. That's a
I really like that title.
Really good title.
So yeah, that's a good pick.
We've come to the tail end of this dog, ladies and gentlemen. The final pick in the About Us movie grid. And this is the movie everyone should see, which does differ from our favorite movie. Just a movie that maybe not everybody saw, but everybody should. And my choice for this, there are beavers. There were hundreds of them. Hundreds of Beavers is the movie in the last, 10 years that was probably the most like a baseball bat to my face. I was just like, what is happening in this movie? What even is this thing? But I'm compelled by it. And I feel like you can, even if you mention that in a group of movie fans, not everyone, even in that group, has seen Hundreds of Beavers. Not that it's like some hidden gem, but it's a gem. It's just not necessarily hidden. But still, it feels like it's not in the cultural lexicon the way it feels like it should be. So that's why it was my choice for a movie everyone should see, because it just feels like this weird thing that could and ultimately was, and it's incredible and amazing, and everybody should see it. In fact, that's how I ended my review. I was like, in short, this movie's amazing and everyone should see it. So there you go. Hundreds of Beavers.
I actually agree with you, because normally when somebody, if I know them well enough, if they're like, hey, recommend a movie, I try to cater it to what I think they might like, right? I don't know who it was really made for, so it's hard to cater it, Yeah. But I still go, yeah, watch Hundreds of Beavers. I don't know. They could like movies that are completely different, and I'll still be like, yeah, watch Hundreds of Beavers. Because it really is kind of a movie that everyone should watch, because it kind of manages to cross lines that it shouldn't.
Yeah.
To be enjoyable, even because it's essentially a silent flick and stuff, and it's those don't fly nowadays, right? But yet I'd still be like, yeah, watch this silent flick, right?
Watch this Charlie Chaplin-ass movie.
And where he beats up beavers. It does. So that's a really good pick. I mean, mine is Gummo, because I mentioned earlier I just like the reactions. So that's my sick pleasure pick, which is the pick I'm going with of even if it ruins your life, I want you to watch it.
Right.
Right, because I've gotten such good responses from people about it that I love it. I did consider something like this was for the film buffs or people getting into movies, like Seven Samurai.
Oh,
Just because it's hugely important, and it's kind of probably worth seeing, because of how much it influenced and stuff, or any number of old movies you could watch that you should see if you're gonna seriously get into movies and don't treat it as just a form of entertainment, which is completely fine too. Because I want people to lose their minds. I want them to watch Gummo.
Right.
Because they're either gonna hate it. This is I've said this to him before, but my ex was like, "That's the worst movie I've ever seen." Whereas the other person I was living with, Alan, was like, "Should he sat at the kitchen table and he was like, should I feel sorry for the guy?" Yes. And I was like, these are great. I just love these responses.
What a great dichotomy of response.
I know, because it's so different than a lot of movies that it's not shocking in the sense, you don't go, oh, the shock movie. It's just different.
Yeah. There you have it, folks. You asked and we answered. We stood in the face of no pressure and said, let's do a movie grid. Yeah. So I'll probably split this into its own video.
Yeah.
Because I think this is probably gonna wind up being quite a length once it's actually fully produced. But that is our About Me movie grid. Without further ado, we will now head into the actual mid-year movie awards for 2026. This is the last year where we've got the full, authentic, across the board, every one of these kind of our pick awards that we've done over the years are in these videos. Coming up next, we'll be right back with the mid-year movie awards for 2026.